Hi everyone, I'm Ken from Crypto Trading KS. If you're new, welcome, and welcome back to our regular community. My goal is to share my decades of trading experience to assist you to be more of a financial blessing to yourself and those you love, and also gain real wealth in the process. Let's run the numbers. Bitcoin currently trading at 52,789, up 2.37%. Ethereum trading at 39.32, up 0.81%. I've hidden knowledge gems throughout this video. Unless you watch to the end, you'll miss them. See how many you can find. Rule 174, T-Cube, trend, timing and trigger. We're going to look at timing now. Using the KS method. Firstly, we'll look at KSZone Analysis. KSZone Analysis are the 4 stages that all investors and traders progress through to become consistently profitable and attain real wealth. Zone 1 is the fear zone, Zone 2 the blame zone, Zone 3 the patience and rule zone, and Zone 4 the meaning zone. Zone 1 and 2, the fear zone and the blame zone, they believe that certainty is possible. When you get into Zone 3 and Zone 4, probabilistic fearlessness is required because we know certainty just isn't possible. Tony Schwartz said it quite well, let go of certainty. The opposite isn't uncertainty, it is openness, curiosity, and a willingness to embrace paradox. He goes on to say, the ultimate challenge is to accept ourselves exactly as we are, but never stop trying to learn and grow. That's the paradox. When people accept themselves exactly as they are, they're undertaking the path of real wealth. Authenticity is based on the concept that you are you and you are good enough, exactly as you are. Of course, the paradox is always there. Even though we're good exactly as we are, we're good enough. But we always need to keep learning and growing. It's important for our development. Everything around us is in a constant state of growth. We don't want to become stagnant. We need to grow as things grow around us. The dark side of life is all about not changing, not learning and not growing, instead getting into conflict. As things change, conflict is often as a result of things changing, but one party wants things to stay the same. That can lead to a lot of unhappiness. It's important to understand that having a lot of wealth doesn't solve these kinds of problems. These problems are realistically to do with our relationships with other people. When we focus on having money and also having real wealth, we can experience a lot of happiness, as well as inner and outer peace, fulfillment and meaning. Real wealth actually leverages uncertainty. We live in uncertain times in an uncertain world. That is just the way it's always been. Rather than rejecting this uncertainty, we just embrace it. It's just normal. The trick is to just keep learning and growing, evolving, becoming more and more authentic. In trading and investing, we talk about probabilistic fearlessness, having knowledge and forgiveness. The forgiveness isn't for other people. The forgiveness is the thing that allows us to get on with our life. The forgiveness is for ourselves and those we love. Rule 402, positive wealth or real wealth or shadow wealth or negative wealth is always growing. One kind of wealth is always growing, a positive kind or a negative kind. Our community focuses on having money but growing the positive type of wealth. That's real wealth. I'd like to express deep gratitude and thanks for everybody that's contributed and bought me a coffee on buymeacoffee.com/cryptotradingks. It's very nice of you and it's very much appreciated. Thank you. Now we have our focus right. It's all about real wealth, overcoming fear with probabilities, and understanding we cannot stop uncertainty. It's just a part of life. We look into the latest news from the eyes of someone really new into the crypto investing or trading space. Let's have a look at the news headlines. We're just trying to figure out if they're positive or negative. Are altcoins looking more interesting than Bitcoin? Well, yeah, the alts typically rocket far more than Bitcoin, but that happens in a positive and negative direction, so we do have to have a little bit of caution there. Bitcoin becomes legal tender in El Salvador. Woohoo, El Salvador. We're going to have to add you to the Bitcoin treasuries list of countries buying Bitcoin. Ooh, this cryptocurrency rose by 48% in the last 7 days. That's pretty normal. Hedra Hashgraph cryptocurrency over 35% up. Ooh, this is very positive. El Salvador again. They're buying 400 Bitcoin. Ooh, before the legal currency launch. Is that legal? FTX token cryptocurrency positive momentum. Well, that sounds very positive. What's this dollar? It's like a jigsaw thing. Oh, that's very interesting. By the numbers, how much MicroStrategy would have lost? Would have lost? Did they lose? That's negative. Institutional exposure to altcoin products retests all-time high. Ooh, that's kind of nice. Altcoins, you mean not just Bitcoin? Yeah, that does mean that. Ooh, that could be very interesting. Bitcoin, cash, price analysis, bullish momentum stabilizes. I don't know if that's positive or negative, but it sounds good. Greatest Canadian casinos on the web with crypto money. Oh, great, just what we need. The trouble with gambling is the house always wins. At least in crypto you have this immense volatility, but you can always hold, so long as you're not using any form of leverage, which will basically wreck your financial future unless you're absolutely professional and you can consistently trade profitably, in which case go for it. Okay, so what do we see here? The headlines are basically positive. Oh, the market must be positive. Next, we look at investment substitutability. The proxy for stocks over the past 12 months, S&P 500, up 35%. Gold is down 6% for the year. Bitcoin is up 414%. The reason we cover these things off is that you will typically read news stories. It's very important that you have your finger on the pulse. That's why we always go through these things. Let's have a look at the rapid overview of the total crypto market. Firstly, we note that there's 11,708 cryptos in the crypto market. We can also see that Bitcoin is 18.3% away from its previous all-time high, Ethereum 10.4% away, Cardano 8% away, Binance Coin 27.4% away. We can see XRP 64.7% away, Solana 1.3% away, and DOGE 58.4% away from its previous all-time high. We look at the Bitcoin stablecoin supply ratio SSR oscillator to see money is flowing into stablecoins, and it's also flowing into Bitcoin at an increasing rate. This is a very positive development. Turning to Bitcoin futures open interest across all exchanges, we can see that there's a large degree of correlation between Bitcoin's price and the amount of open interest across all exchanges. What do we see? Ooh, looking good. A lot more open interest coming into the market. That's supportive of higher prices. We see crypto total market cap currently $2.386 trillion. It's being supported quite well by this particular support line. And we can see it's coming up to a level of resistance, but it's grinding higher. That's also really positive. Now, what does this chart actually represent? It represents these 11,708 cryptos. It's literally that those 11,000 plus cryptos are all moving as one. It's a really, really helpful thing to understand. We can also see the relative strength has just broken across a resistance line. It's on the way up too. That's really positive for price momentum in the upward direction. Turning to liquidations, across the past 24 hours, they were 409.59 million. 85,010 traders were liquidated. Over the past 12 hours, 76% of liquidations were short, and we see that there's really no multi-billion-dollar liquidations, at least for a while. Let's have a look at the 15-minute. We can see a lot of longs were liquidated here, but the majority of shorts are getting liquidated currently. Let's have a look at the top 7 and 24-hour percent gainers and 7-day percent gainers. The top 7 are Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano, Binance Coin, Tether, XRP, and Solana. The top 24-hour percent movers, this column here, are FTT, Sol, Algo, Theta, Rune, Phantom, and Synthetics. The top 7-day percent gainers, this second last column here, are IOTA, Quant, Phantom, FTT, IOST, Sol, and Filecoin. The greatest 24-hour percent losses are Internet Computer, Luna, Filecoin, Audio, Cello, Ravencoin, and Axie Infinity. The greatest losses over the past 7 days are Cello, Arweave, Perpetual Protocol, Luna, BUSD, USDC, and UST, 3 stablecoins. Turning to Binance derivatives, 24-hour trading volume 81.2 billion, 24-hour open interest 15.1 billion. We look at the perpetuals, 2.2% change in the price of the contract in the past 24 hours for Bitcoin. How does that compare to Ethereum? Ethereum 0.2%, 0.2%. Quite a lot more price pressure, upward open interest on Bitcoin rather than Ethereum. Looking for gainers above 10%, what do we see here? Keep, Sol, Ray, SRM, Algo, Theta, Rune, OGM, FTM. We can see that there's not anything negative 10% plus. We need to keep our eye on Tether. Tether is a stable coin, $67.5 billion worth of stable coin. Governments around the world would prefer that citizens use their stable coin or central bank digital currency. They wouldn't prefer that something like Tether is used. So if they go and attack through a regulatory framework these stable coins, we will notice a very big spike in open interest. We currently see literally nothing in terms of open interest on the perpetual and also on the future. Really, really low. We keep our eye on this every single day. Let's have a look at the top cryptos, top 33 cryptos over the past 14 days. We can see Sol here in green. Look at it, it's taken off. It's going to the moon. We can see the second one is FTT. FTT is coming up recently. Filecoin is retracing. That's the third one. And then it gets a little bit hard to differentiate, but we can see XTZ is on an increasing slant here. It's going up. It could take off. Algo is starting to make its move up. The ones below Algo are DOT, Atom, Link, ICP, Litecoin, Ethereum, VET, TRX, Bitcoin Cash, Theta, EOS, XRP, XLM, Ethereum Classic, and Bitcoin. Let's have a look at Bitcoin's analysis. We need to always remember Rule 45. No alt can escape Bitcoin's gravity. The directional correlation of Bitcoin plays out on the alt population to varying degrees, but it's really important to understand the gravity that Bitcoin has on the alts. Let's check out the options on Bitcoin expiring at the end of the month. Put call ratio 0.52, total open interest 57,424.3, max pain price where the majority of the options expire worthless 42,000. We can see some prices up here: 72,000, 80,000, 88,000, 100,000. People are striking options and seeking quite a big increase in price. Looking at Bitcoin futures in the perpetuals, we can see the longs currently have the dominant position. Looking at traditional futures, for the futures expiring 24th September, we can see that they are long too. The Fear and Greed Index is currently 79, which is showing extreme greed. In episode 230, we introduced the rule 17, question required certainty. What that basically means, most people new to investing and trading require certainty when they place their orders. There is no certainty. It's just the nature of investing. If it was certain, your return would be certainly very, very low. The greater the degree of uncertainty, the greater the degree of volatility and resulting gains. It's important to understand that relationship. When people got in back here in February up to around the mid of April, there was an enormous amount of greed coming into the market. People were hyping up Bitcoin as never being capable of going down. Unfortunately, we saw a 50% reduction from there. When prices came down to this point around the 17th of July to the 20th of July, people were saying it was going to go to $10,000. We know inside our community that we never held that position. Just from a probabilistic stance, it was highly, highly unlikely unless some kind of black swan swept in and pulled the rug out from the entire global market. What we've seen is the price has actually rallied quite substantially. We can see that there is extreme greed here in the market. Now, what does that mean? When we get extreme greed, we can look back to past illustrations. That's why I put these lines on this chart for you. When you have extreme greed, you often see price retracing. Why is that? It's literally all about the fact that when things become too profitable, the shorts step in and basically take that profit off the table. It's when things get too pessimistic, the shorts try and short the market and it reverses on them. That's the longs coming in to heat the market up to prevent it from getting too cold. This hot cold sort of thing happens all the time in markets. I've seen it over my 30 plus years in markets. It's just normal price behavior. Now, what does it mean for Bitcoin? If we look at the current technicals here, there's an enormous amount of support at $49,000 to $50,000. It would be more than reasonable for price to come down, touch that, and resume back off. It's really important not to get phased out by minor movements. We know the overall direction of Bitcoin is incredibly positive. I'd like you to keep something in mind because I think it will really help. When you need to be certain of something, by the time you are certain, the market is probably already turned around. The markets don't like certainty and they penalize people who need to be certain before going in. This is a real example of that. This lower price action here was a time of very high uncertainty. It's the level of uncertainty that actually makes the most money in investing and trading. Uncertainty really rules, certainty not so much. If you didn't get a chance to have a look at the trend video, it would be a great idea to look at that. That trend video is really important, and it also covers off some different alts that we don't go through in our analysis in this particular timing session. Looking at Bitcoin's current technical action, Bitcoin is currently trading at 52,630. I've just drawn some lines in here for you. This is a very strong level of support at 50,389. We've also got a good level of support coming in underneath that at 49,691. We can see the price has made it above this psychological $50,000 mark. That's a very, very important mark to get above. It's important because $50,000 was a sell wall. Basically, a lot of people were trying to short the market at the $50,000 level, and it didn't work. Price is on its way up. And if you look at the past trend video, I've basically mapped a little bit of a roadmap on where prices might go this month. Another thing with certainty, it's really important to understand what your investment goals are. For example, if you're seeking to hold Bitcoin for the long term, you already know that Fidelity Investments put out some really interesting analysis that we covered off in previous trend videos as to the potential price of Bitcoin going 4, 5, 10 years out. It's looking really, really good. Now, if you are holding for the long term, you always want to seek to buy at support. Now, what does that really mean? A lot of investors just buy at market, and when they buy at market, the price reverses on them because they've generally bought at market because they're certain it's only going to keep on going up. We know inside our community the price is always moving in a wave. We know natural waves up get natural waves down and up and down. This is just the way of the market. So what our community does is it buys in layers using layer buying. Layer buying is a form of dollar cost averaging, but it's a very, very intelligent dollar cost averaging strategy. Placing orders at support levels allows natural price movement to be captured, thereby lowering your overall average buy price. Now, when doesn't layer buying work? Okay, one good point. If you put the current layer buy on at say $10,000, if you could, because a lot of exchanges don't allow those low points to be even placed in the first place, but just say you could. Bitcoin is currently $52,648. If you put an order on it at $10,000, your probability of getting filled, you may have to wait a very long time, if at all, and in all probability it would never reach there. But the concept is, if you put a layer, for example, at the current support level, just below price of 52,579, the probability of that getting filled is incredibly high. If you placed it a level down at 52,163, that has a probability of being filled, but it's not as great as the one literally spot on the price, but it still is pretty high. If you put another buy order at 51,608, that is a very good support level, and we know that price is always bouncing off support lines, hugging it, bouncing off. So that is actually very intelligent. The thing to realize is crypto is really volatile. It can swing 10, 20, 30% in a matter of days or even hours. Placing your buy orders too far away from price when we have a lot of positive momentum can result in them not getting filled for a while. That doesn't mean not getting filled ever. It's really important to understand volatility moves both ways, to the upside and the downside. The key here is just to be realistic where you place things. For example, looking at this and knowing what we know and going through the trend video, we can see that there's quite a good band of support around the $50,000 mark. People would be seeking to buy around 50,000 if they could, and that's not very far from the current price. Layering down to 50,000 would make a lot of sense, especially as we see a lot of extreme greed in the market. It's your own choice, however you wish to do it. Just really depends on your objectives, how much money you've got, where you trade, your investment objectives over the long term, so many different things. But one thing is for sure, always seek to lower your average buy price. Let's have a look at Ethereum's analysis. Looking at the Ethereum futures in the perpetuals, the majority of large positions are on the short side. Checking out the futures, the traditional futures, expiring at the end of the month, we can see the majority of positions are also short. That is, futures traders are expecting prices to go down. Looking at Ethereum options, for options expiring at the end of the month, put-call ratio is 0.59. Total open interest, 389,752. Max pain is 2560. It's not changed from yesterday. Max pain is the price at which most options expire worthless. We can see quite a lot of interest in the 5,000 and also the 6,000 Ethereum options. Even though a lot of people talk about Ethereum flipping Bitcoin, it's not there yet. Ethereum will flip Bitcoin when this bar goes green, when it reaches 100% plus. It's currently at 48.4%. The flippening has not occurred. Since EIP 1559 was introduced, $868.5 million worth of ETH has been burned. Looking at Ethereum on the daily basis, we can see the price has been going up, but it's starting to lose some momentum. We also see the loss of momentum in the relative strength. That's coming out, it's going down. Now, where could this go to? We understand extreme greed tends to trigger a reduction in price. Another good thing here is the 12 EMA, which is around the 36.92 mark, and the 26 EMA, which is around the 34.14 mark. Those particular EMAs tend to support price quite well. As you can see here in the past, when price is retraced, it's stayed above the 26 EMA. It can act as an area of dynamic support. That could be helpful to you. Let's have a look at Ethereum's technicals. Ethereum is currently trading at 39.14. We can see support below at 38.39, 37.74, 36.80, 35.90, 35.15, 34.47, 33.94, and quite strong support at 33.19. You notice that I've put a support line a little bit heavier here at 35.90. If we see any potential sell-off in Ethereum, it's possible price could come back and retest this level. However, there's a lot of good upward thrusting support here. That's why we don't have a requirement to seek certainty when we place our buy orders. We can place them at various levels of support in line with your risk tolerance level. Just always think, certainty is never going to happen. If something is certain, you will not get a return from it. It needs to be uncertain to be profitable. Some of the most uncertain times are when price goes down. It's a very, very powerful thing to know. Looking at this particular technical from a layer buying position, if I was buying here, I would seek the areas of support, for example 38.39, 37.74, 36.80, 35.90. I would seek to place buy orders all the way down here, and there can be different weightings that you can apply. For example, if you have a standard size of order of X dollars, and I don't know what kind of orders that you place, but just say it's $1,000 at each particular, it can be $100, $500, it really doesn't matter too much, just so long as your costs for transacting the buy order don't get too excessive. That's really important. If it does get excessive, you are much better to just consolidate buy orders 2 levels down, for example, instead of splitting them up. But you can do some math on that to try and figure out how it really impacts your portfolio over time. Some people like to put buy orders, for example, just clump them at 35.90 or 33.19 if you wanted to. That is another strategy. I'm very much of the opinion over many years of trading that it really, with crypto, it's very volatile by nature. And if we're in the right part of the market, doing things like putting them down low can result in your orders never being filled. Sometimes you just have to go with it and say, okay, uncertainty, yes, things are uncertain, but that's how I get the return. If you start to structure that in your mind, you'll do really well. You can always buy at different levels of support and keep a journal and try to understand how those trades have gone. It's so much better than putting a big pile of cash and pressing buy at market. You realistically don't ever want to do that. That really robs you of a lot of profitability. And after all, if you're here for life-changing wealth, you can get it. And it's really important to trade your way into that. Just buy at support as you go. There's no rush. Rule 109, enhance pattern recognition. This is a very profitable thing to do. We'll look at the top 8. These top 8 charts on a weekly basis. Weekly price action is always much more significant than per minute or per hour or 4 hour. Basically, the longer that you go out, the more solid the trend is. We can see Bitcoin coming up to this resistance. It's slowing down its relative increase in percent price, but that is to be expected. It's seeking to get above this resistance. It could wobble around a bit, but there's fairly good support through here. Let's have a look at Ethereum. Ethereum is literally testing the top of that resistance with its current price. It really has not much resistance above at all to get through. If we look at ADA, Cardano is very much above the resistance, this strong resistance back here. It is in price discovery mode. There's nothing stopping it coming back down to test, for example, the 247 mark and then resume back up. Remember, it's always in a wave. Price is always moving in a wave. We don't concern ourselves if prices go down. It's not all over. It's just simple retracement. Binance Coin is like Bitcoin. It's seeking to test this resistance here. It's having a little bit of problem, but it really has a large degree of upward support below it. XRP is doing quite well. You can see XRP is coming up to test its top level resistance, just like Bitcoin is. It's following the market very nicely. Doge has been a bit asleep of late. Come on, Doge, wake up. But the really interesting thing with Doge, when it decides to wake up, it puts in incredible pumps like this. So let's keep our eye on Doge. It's a kind of a sleeping giant in many ways. Let's have a look at DOT. DOT, like XRP, like Bitcoin, is coming up to test this resistance. Resistance always takes a bit to get through. Solana is doing fantastically well. Look, it's on a tear. As things get more and more profitable, the potential of people to take profits always increases. Just keep your mind on that. I hope you found the content useful. Please consider sharing and liking this video if you think it will help others. Thank you to our moderators for keeping our community safe from scammers. Please say hi and let me know where you're viewing from and if you have any questions. If you would like daily updates on price movements in the crypto market, please subscribe to YouTube and don't forget to hit the bell notification icon as content comes out at various times throughout the day and night. Please remember, crypto is volatile. Always prepare yourself for the best and worst case scenarios. Reality will likely be between them. Stay safe out there. Take care and see you next time. Bye for now.